Time for an update. I'm not sure where I left off in the last video. It's been a week or so since I last recorded anything on here. Spent most of the time finishing up the floorboards and the firewall and working on the body panels here. I also got some of the flooring for the passenger seat. I'll go over a little bit of what I had to do to get the floor and the firewall done. The first thing is the throttle cable. The factory throttle cable did not fit. It was too short. So I bought this low car kit here. I believe it's a 36-inch universal throttle cable kit. It's got the little clip here to hook onto the factory little ball. And then on the cable, the other end of it, it had a little aluminum clevis, but that's removable, and you can use the factory little clip that fits into the gas pedal. So I'm using that, and I'll show you it. It works. Another thing that I had to do on here was weld some little bosses onto the back of the firewall to be able to bolt little transmission tunnel panels in. I didn't want to put a bar or anything back here because I don't want it to get in the way of trying to pull the transmission out whenever it comes time for paint or in the future if I ever have to pull it out for anything. So I wanted it to bolt to the sheet metal. I didn't want to use sheet metal screws because I'm sure those wouldn't last very long if I ever had to remove it more than a couple of times. So I just went ahead and welded those bosses in. The floor here, here's my little center console piece. You can see I've got to do a little bit to fix this. I got a little happy with trimming it off and went too far, so I've got to weld a little piece here. I may in the end, if I end up having extra stuff, I may just make a new piece, but I'm going to try just to weld something here and then retrim it to fit. The passenger side ended up working out pretty good. The side panels are on. I got the little foothold for climbing in it. You can see I've got just bolted on with these tabs. These screws are a little bit long. They were free, so that's what I'm using them all for the mock-up. I've actually got in the other day the correct length screws to use for everything. So I got the fuel cells back in there. I need to, I don't know if you can see it down in there, but I've got to work on plumbing the fuel pump at least. It may not go all the way up to the engine yet, but I got to work on that. So I've got the seat in there so I can check for distances and stuff. I got the reservoirs for the shocks temporarily mounted on the back here. I don't have long enough hose clamps. The hose clamps that came with the shocks are meant just so you can mount your reservoir to the tube. Well, as you can see, I can't mount them both to the tube, so I've got one mounted to the tube and the other one mounted to the other reservoir. I just got it held on with zip ties right now until I get some longer hose clamps. The rear panel's on. You see this is just a cutout from the factory fiberglass hatch that was on the Cherokee. You can use the license plate holder. There's a broken piece there. I need to fix that, get into a little insert. And that way I've got the license plate light in there so I can stay nice and legal. Let's see, started on inner fenders. Let's see, some of that painter's tape's coming off. And so I didn't really do any video whenever I was welding any of the tabs on, but I'll kind of show you with this inner fender a very helpful way to hold the tabs in place when you're welding them. So if you've got your panel or something held up on the vehicle and you want to weld the tab in and you don't want to pull it off and then find out your tab's in the wrong spot, use a little magnet here. I've got this magnet. It's holding the cardboard template up just against the little seatbelt tab over there. And you know, it falls when you pull the magnet off. You can hold your tabs up so when you're, like for the fiberglass panel here, you put your tab on there, your magnet here, weld it, pull the magnet off, and your tab's in place right where you wanted it. So that's what I have done since the last update. Today, depending on how the weather holds out, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to roll the buggy out into the driveway to get to work with some more of the aluminum. So I got to get it out of the way so I can pull the sheet out. It's a 5x10 sheet, but I may just work on smaller things. But I'm going to try to at least finish up this template here and see if I have enough aluminum left over from the 5x10 panel that I used for the skins on the side, the floor, and the firewall. If I have enough left over for that, I'll at least get the rear inner fenders done today. But I've got to pull it out. It's sitting over here behind all my, you can see my lovely pile of cardboard that I'm using for templates. Where's it at? Right there. That little sheet that's left. It's probably only enough for one panel, but we'll see once I get it done. My hope is, I haven't tried it out yet, but this should work for both sides. The only thing I have left for the side panels is making this little template right here, something where you can put your foot in when you're trying to slide in. But I think I'm also gonna have to make a hood. I know originally I'd planned on using the Cherokee hood for this, but the hood's not long enough to go, to fit the whole thing. It stops about, right here, just like it does from the factory, and you've got the little plastic piece that fits there, and that little plastic piece is curved, and it doesn't look right. And I don't want to have to try and make a piece of aluminum or steel or something to mimic that. So, and also I'm not the best bodywork person in the world. I don't think that I would be able to cut up another hood and graft it on with my hood to see if it to make it fit. So I'm just going to make one out of aluminum. I think that's going to be a little easier. It'll be held on probably with hood pins or something. I haven't figured that out yet. But I know I am going to make a hood instead of reusing the Cherokee one. I'm still going to be using the Cherokee fenders and grill. I don't want to get away from those. Will not get away from those. But the hood, I'm not going to be able to reuse the hood. The bad thing about making a hood is that I'm not going to have, I probably won't have this little body line feature here where it raises up. So I don't know what I'm going to do there. I may try and put that line into the hood, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to form one the whole length of the aluminum panel, just because I don't have a big enough sheet metal brake. So I may end up cutting this down or building this up. I'll probably have to cut it down right here just to get it to line up here, but that's just me rambling right now. I'll figure out what I'm going to do about the hood when I get to that. I guess we can go over here to the list and see what I've got left. It's going to be kind of tight because I've got the buggy here pushed forward. But I've got to mount the radiator, finish the floor. I've done most of it. Like I said, the part under the seat's done. I've got engine electronics that need to be done. The winch is mounted. It just needs to be wired up. I need to make an air filter, an intake tube for it. I've got to finish a little bit of welds on the steering shaft. I had to modify that a little bit. Let's see, engine mount bolts. Finish the coolant tank mount. I started on one of the tabs for the coolant tank, but I have not completed that. So that's something to do. The battery mount, I don't know where the battery's going to go. I've been toying around with putting it in the passenger side floorboard. That may be where it ends up. I know it's going to cramp the passenger with space, but I don't know if there's enough room in the engine compartment. I'd really like it to be in the engine compartment, but it's a sealed battery, so it really doesn't matter if it's near the passenger. It's not going to leak anything. I got to mount the air compressor for the lockers, though that one I don't know where it's going to go either. It needs to be somewhere accessible, so because I've got the little adapter to be able to air up the tires with it. The gauge cluster needs to be done, but that has to wait until the dash. So do the switches. There's some switches that are going to go on the center console, but there's some that may go up on the dash. I've got to mount relays. That kind of falls in line with all the the switches and dash and gauge cluster, along with the fuse blocks. I've got a couple extra fuse blocks I'm going to use for auxiliary stuff. The brake lines and fuel lines, those need to be ran. I've got one of the factory fuel lines straightened out. I need to get some O-rings for it, for the fuel line clip. The brake lines, I've got all the equipment for the brake lines, but I'm not missing. I need to buy a straightener. I've got one for the fuel line to straighten it out, but I haven't got one for the brake lines yet, so I need to get that. The fuel pump and filter mount, that may actually be the next thing I do. I need to get everything around the rear seat finished up, and that's one of them. The limit straps, I need to measure for the limit straps and then get those ordered. I have to make the roof. Body panels are done now. Fenders, you can see I've still got the old stock fenders on there. They are just going to be up for mock-up, and I'll trace them. I got some brand new fenders I'm going to trace on, or that I'm going to transfer the size over to. Hood, I got to make the hood. I got to finish the grill. It's narrowed. It just isn't fiberglassed in. I got to get my brother to help me with that. The rear license plate area and light panel, that needs to be finished up as well. I've got it. It's cut close to size, but I've got it might need a little bit of fiberglass work. I need to weigh the buggy for springs. I'm getting close to being able to do that. I know I want to have most everything in there. I'm probably gonna, I don't know if I'll do it until before or after I get the hood and roof on there. I may just add some weight for those. I'd really like to wait till the end though, so that I know the weight is accurate. I need to measure and order drive shafts. That can happen now, but I haven't done it yet. I need to work on the relays for the fans and wire those. Of course, I already talked about inner fenders. I got to figure out what I'm gonna do for rock lights. I had them on the Jeep. I didn't do much night wheeling, but the rock lights really helped work at night on it if I needed to, or if I'm at the park and I need to air up before and the lights dim. That really helps out. I got to do boat sides and belly pan. I don't have the steel for those. I need to measure first, figure out what I'm going to do. I don't have a way to cut 1/4 inch plate, so I'm probably going to have to get a friend to help me with that. And then finish weld everything. All the tubes I've added, nothing's fully welded. So I've got to go and do lots of weld. I went ahead and bought an extra spool because I ran out of wire doing the truss. I bought a spool to finish that with, and I bought another. Actually have 2 other spools to do a little more with. But that's it. I'll get the camera back out whenever it's time to actually record something, some work I've done. Like I said, I didn't record a whole lot for the skins or anything because it was really just me walking back and forth trying to make everything go into place. It would not have made for some very fun video, and I don't have the fastest computer, so trying to mess with long videos is very difficult. Alright, there we go. There's a little bit of an update. It's getting closer to being done.